Coinbase sent an email to Canadians at the end of March with the subject line stating, "Update. We will soon request additional information on certain sends of cryptocurrency." And this is what the body of the email said. "Dear customer, starting on April 4th, Coinbase will introduce some changes required by Canadian regulations, specifically when you send crypto to another financial entity or money services business, such as another cryptocurrency exchange, and the transaction is 1,000 Canadian or more. We are legally required to ask you for information about the recipient of that transaction, their name and address." So Eryka, what should Canadians be aware of with this email, and what solutions do you suggest?
So what this means is when, and to put this in the easiest way to describe it, we'll talk about gold because Bitcoin is digital gold. There's two ways that you can hold gold. You can hold it in a bank somewhere where you trust that bank to hold the gold for you. There's another way that you can hold gold, which is where you physically hold it. You take delivery of it. You take gold bars. You wear it as jewelry. You bury it in your backyard. There's two different ways you can hold gold. And just like with Bitcoin, there's two different ways you can hold Bitcoin. Coinbase acts as that bank, that vault, that is where you're trusting someone else to hold your Bitcoin for you, where you're trusting people to hold gold for you, and oftentimes it's paper gold. When you send it to a wallet that is a non-custodial wallet, meaning that you are the only one that has custody of that wallet, it's like taking physical delivery of your gold. It's like taking physical delivery of your Bitcoin. Now, the downside about moving it into this area over here is that you don't have that backing of the bank to help you if you lose your password. If you lose your seed phrase on this side of things, nobody can help you. Just like if you forgot where you buried your gold, nobody could really help you. Now, what this regulation is saying is Coinbase is that bank, right? They're a publicly traded company. They are bridging the gap between the crypto world and traditional finance. Now, if you take your Bitcoin, you take your money out of Coinbase into some place where you're holding it yourself, they're requiring you to report that. Now, this is not just impacting customers in Canada, it's impacting customers in Japan and Singapore as well, starting in the beginning of April. It doesn't, and so essentially what it's trying to do is just make the currency more trackable. When I was reading through the FAQ, it basically, when you do this, when you do send, it will, as a Canadian, it will send you through a series of questionnaires. It will say what type of recipient. Is it a self-custody, is non-custodial wallet, or is it another exchange wallet? Meaning, are you in the Coinbase bank sending it to another bank, like a Kraken, like a Gemini, like somewhere else where you're not actually taking physical delivery of your Bitcoin? And, just, I would say the response to what had happened with the truckers, I mean, everybody probably saw that note about self-custody wallets, and they're trying to just keep more control for the KYC AML side of things because Coinbase really is bridging that gap. And it's just keeping better track of the money. Where is it being sent? And I suggest that, interesting too, because it says like, it asks who you're sending to, where you're sending to. And I think that you'll find that there are already banks, the banks that are involved in the crypto space, even in the US, they already ask these types of details. So Coinbase is kind of just becoming more like a bank. It does take away a level of anonymity, but if you're dealing with some of these regulated financial institutions, they have to adhere to the law. And so this is kind of just the way that it's going to go. And I would say continue to go as traditional finance and crypto merge.
It doesn't need to be something alarming for people.
It's not alarming because cryptocurrency is already very traceable, very trackable, more traceable than dollars for sure. So them doing this is just them adhering with regulations, and they have to because they're a publicly traded company. It's not alarming, but I'm not going to say I necessarily like the peering into our finances. I think those things should be kept private. However, they are trying to exist as a legitimate company within these different areas of the world, and Canada, Japan, and Singapore are requiring this. And so Coinbase they have to adhere.
And you have mentioned before, you know, Bitcoin is not private. It's all there out in the open. So, okay. Well, thank you for your thoughts on that, Eryka, and explaining it a little bit further for people who were concerned what was going on and just wanted a little more clarification. So we appreciate that.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Charlotte, and I will see you next week.